Hey, welcome back to the Hotel Orloff. It is Tuesday, March 26th, I believe. Maybe it's the 27th. I have no idea. We're here at the Hotel Orloff here in scenic rural Retreat, Virginia. I wanted to show you give you a quick recommendation of a YouTube channel. Can you focus on that there? It's Sapphire 674. I don't know if that's clear or not. But this guy has some amazing playlists. We used to call them mixtapes back in the old days. But this guy has put together incredible music selections. Let's see. Some of the covers may not be TV friendly, but let's see. Here's some lounge compilations put together with Bigfoot's face. Let's see. There's a whole playlist of Exorcism, Halloween mixtape. Just trust me, it's great. Also, so subscribe to him and listen to some of his playlist. Also, some people are having trouble finding our new four-color fossil, Dr. Fibes, who's been on a couple of live streams here lately. And I was going to show you how to get there. First, go to search on your YouTube, and then you type in. You don't just type in Dr. Fibes, because that'll just give you a lot of the movie Dr. Fibes. So Dr. Fibes is also a drummer, so he's posting some of his music videos up on here. So what I do, look, you just type in Dr. Fibes Moon. All right, so I'll show you how this works. Because one of the song titles that he put up is Moon. So hold on a second. This is very complicated. So I hit Dr. Fibes Moon, and see, here's the moon, Dr. Fibes. Click on this song, and then you can subscribe to Dr. Fibes, right? You go to the channel, and you can see I'm already subscribed. And he just put up a video a few hours ago, and Meyer was texting me how much he liked this song, Ice Cream, that he put up yesterday. Anyway, and then you will find his great playlist. Not only does he have great music up, playlist of go-go dancers and Halloween party and just all kinds of stuff. So anyway, that's how to get to that. But we're going up to the comic room. We've got stuff to do. Right, Drew the dog? That's right. We got stuff to do. And I need to plug this phone in before it dies. Okay. There is Alan the cat. Hello, Alan the cat. Alan the cat is also a famous denizen here at the Hotel Orloff. Some people in the chat were saying, Groucho Orloff, why do you call it a hotel? You don't live in a hotel. And I'm telling them that that is, why do you ask me this question? That is a nonsensical question. Of course this is a hotel. But we turn off the lights because we're frugal here at the Hotel Orloff. Let's get all the lights off. We got stuff to do. Okay. All right. We've plugged you in, so we have enough power to for tonight's broadcast. I do believe. Okay, when we last left off, I think I was looking at Radioactive Man, this great superhero title. But this is a glow-in-the-dark cover. I think I have a couple of copies of this. I think there's, or maybe I don't. No, I don't. Okay, anyway, it glows in the dark. And let's test it out. We'll hold it up to this lamp. Let me unplug this. We'll hold it up to this lamp, then I'll take it in a dark room. All right. Let's go in a dark room. It's not. Trust me, it would work if I could get into a true dark room. I also didn't hold it up long enough. Oh my gosh. It's not. Trust me, it'll work. But I have too much ambient light around here. Anyway, Radioactive Man, number 1. There were 2 series of Radioactive Man, and they're real tricky, and they number them in such a way that it looks like you have random issues of a long-running title of Radioactive Man, which was Bart Simpson's favorite comic book character, as you recall. So as far as putting them in order, this is number 1, and this is 216. Now, there were not that many Radioactive Man comics. It's just, so that's 216. Here's number 88, which is from the Go-Go Checks era. And one thing I'm also doing as we go is bagging and boarding comics. So this is a Silver Age issue of Radioactive Man. So it's a pretty clever series done by people that know comic book history. So anyway, we had a pretty amazing live stream Sunday. Well, I filmed an episode up here, and then I started the live stream, and then that episode went live in the middle of that live stream, and nobody's really watched it. Maybe 130 people. 88. But not that those people that watched it are nobodies. I just mean it's a low body count. This is number 575 with a fake Howard Chaykin cover. Let's get this one bagged and boarded. Yeah, when I do these shows during the week, it means that my wife is working upstairs, and that means that I have a few hours to... Last night, she wasn't. She'd never seen Citizen Kane, and we watched that. Yeah. How about that? Okay, so I'm going to put these in the order that they should be. So that's Radioactive Man. See, it's dated August 1972 there. So 216, 575. Here's Bongo Superheroes number 7, which is an imaginary series based on the Marvel Superheroes specials. Oh, look at this Sea Monkeys comic. Yes. I'm going to be making a deep dive into the comics back over here in order to get some books filed back there. So, depending on how long this how long the memory holds up on this phone. We'll possibly see some Bronze Age stuff that you may remember from your childhood. Okay. Yeah, put that one here. Oh, here's this one's made to look like from that period where DC Comics had the 52-page 25-cent comics. Only thing that mars it is the UPC code. Gives it away. Look at that. I briefly flirted at the idea of just putting these Radioactive Man books in with my Silver Age comics over there, and then I thought that would be really stupid. That's just, you're just trying to be overly clever, you know, that's stupid. Yeah, I do have 2 of that Radioactive Man #1. So yeah, I thought I did. I'm the one that's hoarding them. Okay, so here's an 80-page giant #1 Colossal Man. So they okay, hold on a second. So they did the Marvel Giants and the DC Giants, but wait a second, I didn't number this one right. This is supposed to be issue 197 from June of '71. So that would go. That was 88. There's 216. Okay, and then this is issue 100. All right. Wonderful. And and this one, early Bronze Age Radioactive Man with the picture frame cover, window box, whatever you want to call it. It's 222, issue 222. Yeah. And this is 136. It's made to look like one of the Archie superhero comics. 136. These comics were obviously made by people that understood the different eras of comics, and basically people like us. I already had an 88. I have doubles of that. Totally unintentional. When I have doubles, it's usually an accident. And here's another 216. Yeah. So I have doubles of that too. Okay, let's put these in with the Simpsons comics, and then we'll be done with this box. I saw that Home Depot must have had a show where they showed their upcoming Halloween decorations, because everybody's posting the new Home Depot line of Halloween stuff on Facebook, anywhere. And they have a pretty cool life-size Frankenstein's monster that moves and everything. Who knows? It could be a $500 thing. Could be not affordable. If it's that much, it wouldn't be worth it. There was a life-size Mars Attacks Martian last Halloween from, I think, Spirit, but it was, I think, $500-600. No one could afford it, so I don't know. Maybe some people have that thing. Okay. Still have a few Silver Age books I've got to put over here. What do we have here? Lately, everybody's been showing pulps. I'll show a few pulps. This one was obtained for $5. It's in terrible condition, thrilling wonder stories. No back cover. The ads were always for horrible problems that they figure the readers have, like varicose leg sores, fistula, whatever that is. Another one I got for $5 in terrible condition, but you know, when you find a pulp for $5, you tend to get it. No back cover on this one either. Man, why isn't this bagged and boarded? I've had this one for years. Dynamic science fiction. And of course, anything with a green woman, you know, if you're a Star Trek fan, you have an appreciation for green women. Anyway, it's a pulp. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I need a bigger bag for this. Here's Startling Stories. I've shown all these before on 4-color fossils, but I'll show them again. This one was obtained for $10. This is a more recent one from the 1950s. I call that recent. $4.99 is what you paid for this. I mean, you used to be able to... I don't know. Maybe you still can get them for this price. Another $5 one. I may have gotten these from... This I think I could have gotten from Gotham City Comics. That's possible. It looks like his price tag. Here's an issue of Amazing Stories with an Edgar Rice Burroughs story. I bet that I didn't pay this price. I paid less, but not a whole lot less. It's Barsoom cover. Skeleton Men of Jupiter. I don't recall offhand if that's John Carter. John Carter was not the lead in all the Barsoom stories. In the first 3, A Princess of Mars, The Gods of Mars, and the Warlord of Mars. Those are the original 3, which are a trilogy that work together as one long story. That's really John Carter's story. And then other books, it's like John Carter might appear on the first or last page, or he exists in that world, but it's about someone else that's tangentially related to John Carter, or just anyway. So I don't really remember offhand, but I love look at that. Now, science fiction that depicts laser guns, and they're also sword fighting. That all goes back to John Carter, to Edgar Rice Burroughs. I mean, there was Edgar Rice Burroughs in these Barsoom books. Then there was Buck Rogers, then Flash Gordon, and you know, Star Wars was generations down. Really supposed to be Flash Gordon, but but Lucas was aware of the Barsoom books because he used a lot of the rescued princesses and the all of that. There are a lot of words in Star Wars that kind of like the kings on Mars, on Barsoom, what the Martians call Mars, were called Jedaks, also called Jeds, and that's where Jedi comes from. And the giant lions with multiple legs on Mars were called banths, Banths, which, the giant elephants on Tatooine were banthas. Bantha is easier to say than banths. It's hard to say. It doesn't roll off the tongue. And Sith was a giant Martian mosquito that was about the size of a VW bug. That's where the word Sith comes from. Lucas didn't just coincidentally think of the word Sith. And those Mars books are what inspired people like Ray Bradbury and as a little kid, and people like Carl Sagan and all that. Whole generations of kids very inspired by that. Ray Bradbury, I don't want to get into that. Well, Captain Strangelove was showing some EC Comics that had a blurb on the cover that said, story included by Ray Bradbury. EC Comics, William Gaines and Feldstein were taking stories from their memories, reading pulps, everything they read as a kid. They just absorbed it all, and a lot of old radio shows. They kind of let's kind of use that story. They used I believe 2 of Ray Bradbury's short stories. They were in the early 50s, and what they didn't realize is that Ray Bradbury was a comic fan, and he had a lot of friends that read comics, and he became aware that EC had used some of his stories. And he looked at it, and he's thinking, that son's, they're stealing my stories. Then he read them and thought, man, these guys are doing a great job with my stories. It's just, these are clearly they changed some things. Wasn't exactly as like the title and a few things in the story, but it's still clearly, hey, it's my story. So he wrote him a letter saying, hey, it looks like you're getting pretty busy in the office, and you forgot to send me my $50 for those stories, because $50 was the standard rate he got for his stories being, reprinted. And he said, so I guess the check just got lost in the mail, but you guys did a terrific job. And then he had a postscript, and he says, you may want to look into my books, collections of my short stories and the Martian Chronicles. And it's like, why don't you do entire issues of your magazine adapting my stories? In other words, it's like, hey, I caught you stealing my stuff, but I love you, and I want to be your friend, but hey, just do it the right way, and hey, we can work together, and I love your stuff. And so Gaines sent him a check, and he said, by sending you this check, we are not agreeing that is true, that we took your stories, but we would love to work with you. And he put that in there. I'm sure his lawyer or whatever, he just thought, we better not admit that we did it, but we're going to go ahead and send him the $50 as a goodwill thing so we can. And so after that, I think that, God, how many stories did they do? It was a lot. I think at least a couple dozen, maybe more than that. They wound up, now they were doing Bradbury stories with permission, and weird science and weird fantasy, and Captain Strangelove was showing an issue of Vault of Horror. I didn't remember that they had a story in one of the horror comics from Bradbury, but that's very interesting. I forgot that, because some of those, read all the ECs and the bound sets, but that was back when I was in junior high, so some of them I haven't read in more than a few decades, the 1980s, So anyway, they kept doing that, but after a while they stopped putting Bradbury's name on the cover, because Bradbury started to be printed in the classy magazines, like what was the one that Truman Capote was editing? The classy magazines, the ones that and EC Comics and comic books in general were starting to acquire this. That's bad stuff, and it's like, why would someone pay Ray Bradbury to be in this classy, glossy magazine if his stories are also appearing in these comics that the Senate subcommittees are looking into? And it's like, so he said, hey, we can keep working together. You can keep doing my stories, but let's not put my name real big on the cover featuring, because he was starting to become big time in the 50s, and by the end of the 50s, Ray Bradbury was huge. So basically, it was a mixture of anger and love. And then in the 60s, they put out 2 paperback editions that were Ray Bradbury books. It's like, hey, there's a new Ray Bradbury collection here. And you open it up, and it was all comic book panels. Because what they did is they collected all the EC Ray Bradbury stories and published them in book form. I think one of them was called The October People. I forget what the other one was called. But anyway, Ray Bradbury loved, and those were what he did with EC. I don't know. I hear, William Gaines just real blah, blah, blah. He was a thief. He was stealing. Yeah, he was. Everybody in the comic industry was stealing right and left from everybody, But I think Gaines was a great person, and Bradbury was a great person. And for all their sins, God bless them. Stan Lee was a great person. Everybody's got great and bad. If it wasn't for Stan Lee and these people, Forrest J. Ackerman, you could say some bad stuff about it. And there's stuff, but I'm not going to get into it. These were great people that made our childhoods great. So I don't really like hearing that Gaines was just a jerk and Bradbury, he stuck it to him, and Bradbury loved it. But, he couldn't give his stories away, but, whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to, it doesn't matter. Okay, so, what else we got here, ladies and gentlemen? We've got a coverless Dick Tracy in horrific condition. And it's been cut into, and some moron ordered the Revolutionary Soldiers. Look, they cut out the coupon. I'm glad that they ruined this comic book, and they got tiny. I was looking over there because I think I've got some little people. They're about this big. Anyway, this is a great reprinting of old Sunday funnies and all that kind of stuff. It had a great cover, but doesn't have it anymore. But it's got a great splash page. I think I'm going to put this into a bag and board because, for crying out loud, it deserves one. I was thinking about doing a live stream tonight. I don't know. What do you think? Should we do a live stream? I don't want to give people live stream fatigue. It's just out of sheer boredom, ladies and gentlemen. I should be excited about March Madness, but I don't care about any of that. Okay, so there was a horrible boat that crashed into a bridge this morning, and that was pretty horrible. A lot of conspiracy theories going around about that, but I don't think anyone would intentionally want to hurt our no one would do. Okay, what is all this garbage? Well, if I could find an R or an S box back there, then I could file some stuff. Let's see if we can't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Well, why are there no writers like Ray Bradbury and Heinlein? Okay. So, it snowed a little bit here this morning. It was kind of weird. At 6 o'clock I get up, there's incredible volume of snow coming down, but it all pretty much went away. The streets weren't, it never really stuck to the streets, but stuck to everything else. How about that? Okay. Why do I have the song On the Road Again by Willie Nelson stuck in my head all day today? I don't think I heard the song recently, but for some reason it's popped into my head. I don't know why these things happen. Oh man. I pulled an M box. I've got a box here that has stuff that I need to file. Let's see if there's any M books that need to be filed. Here's a Metal Men and a Nom. Maybe there's only 2 books I could file in this box. Let's see if there's anything that really is incredible that you could look at. Oh, here's a comic that probably should be bagged and boarded. It used to be valuable. This is the comic I bought. I mean, this is the one I bought off the stands at Lone Star Comics. It used to be pretty valuable, but then that horrible TV series came out, and that may have scared away all the investors. But I liked Moon Knight when it first started. It was supposed to be. It was Batman mixed with the Shadow, a little bit of that, you know. So, you know, looked like late 60s, early 70s Batman. It since changed quite a bit and morphed into something very different that I'm not even sure I understand or if anyone understands. But I imagine that should be bagged and boarded out of respect to my... This was... Oh, interesting. I hope that Moon Knight number 2 is valuable, because I have several copies of this book. Moon Knight number 2. Now, Moon Knight number 1 was not the first appearance of Moon Knight, you know that. Oh, here we go. All the fun of real pinball without the coin slot. Look, you can tell that's just as much fun as a pinball machine. This is the beginning of the end. I thought, to me, Lego was a lot more fun when you didn't have, it wasn't like a model kit where you had to assemble one thing. I'd rather just have a bunch of generic blocks and I can build anything I want. That's how Legos were when I was a kid. It wasn't, no, actually I did have a Lego ambulance. I don't know why someone bought me a Lego ambulance. But I'd rather just, I'd just rather use my imagination. Moon Knight number 2. Actually, I have 1, 2. Actually, I have several copies of that. I don't know why. Don't know why. Should I waste all my bags on these? I'm not showing comics that are interesting lately, which is why I'm getting fewer and fewer views, I think. Let's see if there's not... Let me flip through here and find something of merit worth showing. Lots of Moon Knight comics, yeah. Morbius. Oh, this one I bought off the stands. Ms. Marvel. Now, the movie, people would have liked the movie better if she wore this uniform, in my opinion, but perhaps I'm wrong. I have Ms. Marvel 3. Incredible. And then I remember she switched to this outfit. Remember the issue 20? Okay, here's Metalman wouldn't be go in this box because it should go in the box before this. Okay. Well, here's Nom. I only have a few issues of this comic called Nom. It's apparently written and drawn by Vietnam veterans, is my understanding. Where's the Nom? Okay. So I can put 23 in there. It seems to exist in a different... This is a cover that looks like it's from DC's Ghosts comic. There was one issue. Do I have it with all the... Yeah. Everything was like pretty much realistic Vietnam. And then issue 41, they have the Marvel superheroes show up in Vietnam. Of course, Iron Man has his origins set in Vietnam. You know, I think the movie updated it to like Afghanistan or something. So that's 41. 31. No, okay, I only have about four or five copies of Nom. Maybe I need more, I don't know. Here's New Gods number 10, which probably should be rebagged and boarded with a backing board, you know. I'll reuse that bag. It doesn't look horrible. I mean, it's okay for put on something. But these bags and boards are courtesy of, they're an early birthday gift from Captain Strangelife, and so that's cool. I really appreciate that, Hans. These are, of course, I don't know if anyone's watching this show, but if anyone is, how about that? The New Gods. This is one of the first of the 20-cent issues after they lowered the price from 25 cents and reduced the page count. So that's the only Bronze Age New Gods I have. The other ones I have in those boxes because I consider the 52-page, 25-cent ones, I consider that to still be Soul Rage. Most people probably disagree with me, and it's just how I file things. This is a book that came out, direct distributed book that was a wraparound cover. It's loud music. It reprints all the early New God stuff on Baxter paper. So that's what this is. Incredible. Maybe in a couple of months, if we can recover financially by maybe June, I'll get some bags and boards and I'll continue on with this project. Yeah. It's a lot more interesting to look through the Silver Age comics than these, in my opinion. Here's New Mutants 1, which I don't think anyone cares about. is that rascally thing? Yeah, buddy. Oh, I was getting upset. I was thinking, where's my highly collectible New Mutants 98? Which, you look at it like, can you see Deadpool there? There's an extremely skinny, stretched out figure here, which, with very feminine legs, you know, like that. So this is what everyone loves. It's the first appearance of Deadpool. You could probably do with a flattening, whatever you guys call it, ironing, pressing, whatever. Looks like the corners are... I have no sentimental attachment to this. I would... the positioning of the nose down here and the eye, and it's like the nose is nowhere in proportion to the eye. Holy cats. But it's great art, trust me. I guess, you know, the new Deadpool movie's probably... It's Disney, so it's gonna be horrible, let's face it. Even if they have Hugh Jackman back, they'll do something to ruin it. I just know that this book there's millions of these out there. So I think is this what, a $400, $500 book? I don't know. If it could just go up, get rid of this. I don't want to be one of those guys. I sold Amazing Fantasy 15 for $75. Yeah, okay. I'd rather wait on that. But you might have a long wait. It's like sitting on silver bars. It's like, someday this is gonna go up, but the price is... Someone's got their thumb on that scale. It's not gonna go up anytime soon. Yeah, it's like you look in this price guide, the 1976 price guide, Amazing Fantasy 15 is like $75 in mint condition. You know, it's like, but $75 in 1976 money was a lot more. Like, my parents bought their house for $28,000, I believe, is what it was listed for in the summer of '76, and we were able to sell that house that I inherited and buy this gigantic hotel that's really in not very good condition, but it's got a lot of square footage. What else is here? I want to put this in a better bag and board. It's a reprint of Nick Fury comics. Ooh, it looks like this has been through a fire. No wonder I got it cheap. I've never even opened this one up. Yeah, it's reprints of the Kirby art from the very early They used to tell you exactly down at the bottom what issue it was reprinted from. When was this? Oh, this is early on. This is the early Bronze Age, 20 cent. Look at the splash pages they used to have, man. Incredible. Anyway, this deserves better than that little bag I just took it out of. Great Stranko cover, but this book has evidence of having survived a fire. There was a comic store I used to patronize that had a lot of books that had clearly gone through a fire. They had bought a collection like that. Some were worse than others. And they had a lot of books that had Bug Chew, too. That's issue 2. Yeah, see, this... Yeah. These bags, this bag isn't that old, and look at how wavy it is, man. Look at that. Horrific. Because I didn't start buying these ones where you pull I'll save it and put some book in it that doesn't, it's not of much consequence. But anyway, this isn't, as far as I know, a high dollar book. It's reprints, but it's fun to read. You know, it's this is the next issue. It's number 3. This is Marvel's, S.H.I.E.L.D. was Marvel's attempt to rip off Man from U.N.C.L.E. and James Bond. It's like, that's what the comic industry did, and that's what TV shows did. Everybody ripped each other off. But when you... but Gaines was taking the plots completely from Bradbury, you know, without his permission. They just figured, he'll never know. It's just, we're just doing it for our sleazy comics. And then, but no, you happen to pick a guy that loves comic books. Okay, 3. Another issue of 3. How about that? Here's number 4. This one, the bag and board is okay. I'll leave it in that. Here's a issue of Night Nurse. I don't know, that spine's okay. What do you think? Pretty nice spine, huh? Hey, it's better than not having it. Night Nurse, Night Nurse, Night Nurse. Is that the only Night Nurse I have? It would appear to be so, but a few years ago, I think around the pandemic, they put this book out. And it reprints probably the entire run of Night Nurse, since it was not a long-running comic series. And then on the back, they've got a promo for the Daredevil series. And which is why this was reprinted, because the character of the Night Nurse character appears in the Netflix Daredevil show, although she's not red-haired, because if you have red hair in Hollywood, you need not apply. But anyway, yeah, see, they depict Daredevil being helped on the cover. So, this is a good way to... Is that 2 boards? Or are these just really thick boards? So this is a good way to probably inexpensively get the entire run of Night Nurse. And I don't think it's that expensive a comic to get the original ones from the early Bronze Age. It's just you don't see it very often. It's not a book that boys bought, you know. It's like, what's the most expensive G.I. Joe? Well, it's the G.I. Nurse, because no guy wanted to buy the G.I. Nurse. It would be creepy to ask Santa for the G.I. Nurse. And no girl wanted to buy the G.I. Nurse because she was kind of an ugly face sculpt. And why not just use your Barbie and she could be the nurse to your brother's G.I. Joes? And that would, so, therefore, the G.I. Nurse is very rare and hard to find, sought after. This is Knight Rider, and it was originally called Ghost Rider, but, you know, they were reprinting in the mid-70s, the 25-cent era, in the Gerald Ford era of comics. They changed the title. This one needs some pressing for sure. When I got this book, it was has a serious, not a subscription fold, but just a fold because it belonged to some clumsy kid at some time. All right, Nova, OMAC, One Man Army, Omega the Unknown, Outlaw Kid, Peacemaker, Peter Parker. What? I thought I put Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, after the S. I guess I didn't. Well, that's That box was a big bust. As Dolly Parton would say, I only got to file like one comic, but I got to bag and board a few things in that box. All right, let's try the box that was underneath it. Long boxes are not my favorite thing. Okay, now. Oh, I forgot about this wonderful book. It's Ramona Fradon's Plastic Man, the revival of Plastic Man from issue number 11. I think this started in maybe 75. Yeah, I remember buying this when we still lived near Seattle. Here's 12. I mean, well, why did they start with issue 11? Because they had done some issues in the 60s, and they just started the numbering count where it was, which is admirable because I hate the way they restart everything now. This is issue 13. I've never pulled the strip and enclosed it. I'm just gonna play this Christmas music all year, I've decided. Oh, that website I showed you at the beginning of this video, that Sapphire or whatever, has some great Christmas compilations too. This is a good cover. Look at that. That is a beautiful cover. And you know when it's that beautiful, who it has to be by. Who was the guy in the mid-70s at DC that did these wonderful covers that look like that immediately grabbed you? Who was the guy that later worked at Marvel for Conan? Look at that. It's an Ernie Chua cover. A guy that doesn't get enough credit. Ernie Chan, Ernie Chua, same guy. He always signs it and dates it. 1976. That was a beautiful cover. Number 15. Someone needs to write a book about that guy. He's just been forgotten. A lot of Plastic Mans here. Here are a couple of books that I got recently. This is a Poison Ivy cover. This is Power Girl cover. The comic inside I never read, but I don't normally buy these modern comics, but those covers really struck me. Here's first issue of Prez. This was DC talking about stealing. This is DC's version of Wild in the Streets, an American International picture, which you may remember the music from it. Nothing can change the shape of things to come. Oh, this board will not fit in that. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so kids get the ability to vote, and they vote for this young president who puts anyone over 30 into prison camps, and they're forced to take LSD. In the movie Wild in the Streets, not in this comic. They couldn't have done that in the comic. But yeah. Joe Simon and Jerry Grandinetti. This is Joe Simon with Jack Kirby, the creator of Captain America, and This is his attempt. This is my childhood copy, by the way. That issue number 1 was not, but this one is. And why did I just buy this particular issue as a 8-year-old? Clearly, it's because there's a vampire on the cover, and I was into monsters. So I have 2 issues of Prez. This is a book I really liked when it came out in the 80s. I really loved this cover. And this one too, though the neck muscles are interesting, but I'm not knocking it. I ought to rebag this. This bag's probably been on it for decades, probably since I was in college, which is more than a few decades. They're advertising the Jetsons is on television every weekday on the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera. I did not like all this. That was disgusting me. Around this time, I was... Yeah, I was starting to get disenchanted. Secret Wars and then Secret Wars 2 to me just seemed like crass ploys, ways to sell a toy line. And then DC was doing the same thing over with Superpowers. And I had other things to do in college. I had a whole posse of friends that I hung out with that I met around that time that I started collecting records and movie posters pretty intensely, and I was going to show you the back cover, but it's now just a whiteboard. I had no interest in all that Secret Wars stuff. No interest. None. Here's the first issue of the Punisher in his own series. Notice how he's firing the gun. Count his fingers there. Can you see that? You count 4 fingers, and then what's supposed to be the index, there's 4 fingers and then an index finger on the trigger, but that if there's 4 fingers here, then that has to be his thumb. But it's all right. It's all right. I forgive them. It's the Punisher War Journal. I mean, that's not good art. I'm sorry, but if you think that's good art, then there's some... Who drew this monstrosity? Carl Potts and Jim Lee. Oh, Jim Lee is the inker. Well, Jim Lee's got a lot of street cred. I mean, that looks okay, but some of this art, I don't know, it's questionable. Oh, well, que sera, sera. How much time we got? We probably only have about 10 more minutes to share together because my phone can't record a decent length show. Look at this cover. This is whenever it says Max on there, that means that this is an R-rated Marvel comic. But this cover, they're attempting to be Steranko. It's an interesting cover, but some of these Max comics are unbelievably sadistic. Like they really hired some people that are really something's wrong with them. Like right out of the mental institution. Here's Punisher POV with a Bernie Wrightson cover. Look at this guy that's been shot in the face. You know, obviously this is not a code-approved comic. Oh, here's another one of these explicit content Max covers with this Thaw Steranko cover. Let's see. Yeah, you got this kind of thing, a guy taking his eyes out and putting them back in, it's just his eyes get, the Kingpin squashes his head and his eyes pop out. I mean, this is the kind of deranged stuff. Yeah, and you just got people getting shot. I mean, what the heck is going on with this? Oh, he pops his eyes back in and says, "I can see." This makes me sick, man. Who was in charge of Marvel during this period, which was this early 2000s? I don't even know where they put the indicia at the end, and I can't read this at all. It's why am I no? I've got better uses for bags and boards. This was a fun comic, The Punisher Armory, which is not really a comic book, it's just pictures of weapons. The entire comic is just I guarantee you Marvel will never reprint an entire comic that just glorifies the weapons and has them laid out like it's like it's Penthouse or something. This is like a makeshift explosive. It's just, this will never be reprinted. So you're not, but I don't think they're very valuable. So you can still find them, out there in the wild. But to me, it's funny that this comic exists, just because of today's modern world. The Punisher revealed his thoughts, his feelings, his weapons. The must-have book by the ultimate payback warrior. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? The 1990s. They seem so like it wasn't that long ago, but you look at a book like this, and it was a while ago. Well, it was nice of you to tune in today. It's been a wonderful evening with you folks. Here's another issue of Punisher Armory. That was issue 4, and I've got issue 1 and 4, so there's at least 4 issues. I still need 2 and 3.